y'all, good morning and welcome back to Alicia's Crafty Hoplop. Happy Tuesday, y'all. Happy Tuesday. Well, I'm wearing my distressing and my mixed media top today. That's because both for work and for pleasure, I'm likely to stain this. Last week when I made my video, I had like a big mark of distress ink on my shirt. Thankfully it came out. My mother is excellent at laundry and has been since I was a child. So the one thing I'm very good at is laundry, and I can get almost anything out of clothes. And down here in Florida, there's all sorts of amazing products that we never see in New York. So thankfully, I'm usually able to rescue this top once I've covered it in all sorts of glazes and inks. Which actually leads me to my next point, which I was taking a look through my craft collection because it's fun and it's like discovering all new supplies, but also because I need to make room for my Christmas and my Halloween supplies now. And y'all know it's been super neat and organized here. And I realized while looking through that my interests over the last year have really changed. Like right now, I'm all about and all excited about the Tim Holtz embossing glazes. I totally am interested in testing them out and playing with them. I'm also interested in making mixed media backgrounds with my gel plate and then using those to make flowers. As always, I love making handmade ephemera. So like for instance, I was working on these. These were produced from a Sheena E stamp. Now, I'd heard that Sheena E stamps were excellent quality, and when we had a Tuesday morning, they had a bunch for $2.99, and I bought but one pack because I didn't know if they were any good, and you all know I ran into some stamp quality initially. Well, am I ever sorry I didn't buy more of these, y'all. You can see I used the Stampin' Up! Different colored inks. They're really pretty in person. This one I didn't glitter or stickle up, but some of them I did. And I really love how they turned out. They're great for card making, they're great to add to tags, to pocket letters. But y'all, these take a long time because by the time you layer them up so that they're like 3 layers like chipboard, and you ink them, let it dry, or you can use your heat tool. I do that sometimes. But then if I want to stickle up all the edges like this one, well, you know you can't heat tool a stickle. So it just has to dry on its own. You know, it takes quite a bit of time to get these done. So I still enjoy doing those. I did go on and make more of those woodland critters that I shared with y'all. Y'all saw when I made the foxes. Well, I went on and played with a whole bunch. I sent some off to a friend of mine that loves owls. And hopefully she'll enjoy the handmade ephemera. I made them in all different types and all different color tones and all different inks. But I love the raccoon, y'all. It was difficult to do the raccoon, actually, with the, you know, but for a $1 stencil from the DT, I really was able to produce basically a whole pack of handmade ephemera. That's super cute. So I love making things like this. They take a really long time for me because I'm slow, but it's very joyful. And because I watercolor them or I hand do them, this and this is a slow process, y'all. So that leads me back to your feedback the other day when I said, okay, so what would you like to get in your racks? Because I had buyer's freeze, right? And what was really interesting is that no one but Monty said dies. Monty and I are probably the only 2 people that still love dies. Most folks said handmade items or, as a second choice, ephemera. Now, I love a handmade item more than anything, as you all know, right? As much as I love die cutting and I love using my dies in interesting ways, handmade stuff's my favorite thing to get. But as a slow maker, I have spent the last 24 hours wondering, how the heck can I make racks that are handmade? Because I'm so slow. So y'all know usually my racks contain items that I know people want, that they haven't been able to get in their area. I keep a list in a notebook, and when I'm out and about, if I see it and it's reasonable and I can afford it in my budget that month, I buy it. Well, y'all, just based on your responses, I'm like, uh-oh, what can I possibly make that I'm able to share? Like, for instance, okay, so these are actual ephemera packs because I created all the creatures, right? So I was able to make some of these, which is great. But for instance, these florals really are just meant to be used on cards or on tags or pocket letters. I haven't thought about making whole sets of these yet. And even if I did, they take a long time. So that made me think about a collaboration that is hosted by Amelia. And I've been following it all year and kind of secretly crafting along with it. I found it through Metal Scrapping Chick. And basically, You list out your crafty goals for the year, and every month you check in and see how you did. And what I've noticed about many of the participants is that they seek to do 4 racks a year. I do more than that in a month, y'all. And I think if I'm gonna do handmade racks, though, that's gonna change. Because y'all know I'm slow. Like, even something like this takes me a long time to do. So what it might mean is, if I'm gonna switch to handmade racks, is that I'll be sending out a lot less. So maybe I'll send out some We Wishes and some handmade racks, but instead of doing like, 9 or 10 a month or more, I might just do 4 a year if they're handmade. So it's like rethinking. But I'm also rethinking my own choices. Like, again, I have some great craft supplies here, but some of my own interests have changed. So I'm really passionate about those embossing glazes, and I'm really interested in them and better exploring texture in my crafting. And I'd love to make a whole series of mixed media backgrounds for florals. I have all sorts of ideas that I want to explore. And that's very different than a lot of the craft supplies I currently have, which were geared more towards maybe more traditional craft projects. Nothing wrong with that, y'all. They're still handy, but I need to sort of reassess them a bit and reorganize. Now, we learned from Brooklyn, it is better if I do one bin or one thing at a time, because otherwise I make a big mess that is overwhelming and takes me 3 weeks to put back. Oh no, I have learned my lesson. So today I'll be doing but one bin. I already actually achieved my goal for the day. I needed to test out my blendable markers here. I have a terrible set of blendable markers here, but they work fine. They're not great. I bought them at Jerry's art store. They're supposed to be art grade. They're not. They're a poor Copic cousin, that's all I'm gonna say. But they're still working. So that was my job for today, was to test them out, make sure they're working, so that I actually can continue to make handmade ephemera. And they are. And I realized that on my list before starting my workday, which is great. So now my bonus project is to work on a different bin and get that organized and set up, because I have to put out all my Christmas making stuff and all my Halloween making stuff so it's accessible. And I gotta make some room for that, y'all. I also need to reorganize our PPE area. It worked very well for the first 3 weeks here, but it's gotten a bit more complicated in the recent week or two, just because we increased my chemo again. So I have to be even extra careful now. So I need to do some of that. And because the husband is not able to walk, he's just sitting, y'all, and that means a bigger mess. And so I have to try to figure out how to balance that in my day while also ensuring self-care. So I am making myself a commitment that every day I'm taking a walk, no matter what. Even if that floor needs washing, I'm walking, because that's in the best interest of my health. And just like we were talking about yesterday, self-care has to be a priority. So the floor can wait, but the walk can't. So I thought I'd share all those things with you, and all these changes and all these new things I'm learning about myself as a maker. It's an exciting time. I am really grateful to all of you for telling me that you'd rather have handmade rack. It just may mean that I send out less. I did get out the first round of packages yesterday, and as y'all know, I need to wait for my next pay period to do the next round, because y'all, the postage, you would not believe what it cost yesterday. It was like $25 more than I estimated, and I'm a pretty good estimator. So I was like, ah. And the postal clerk told me they're expecting another price hike, y'all. Yeah. So we also have to think about racks that are lightweight and Happy Meals that are lightweight. And normally, our international folks have been dealing with that for years. But here in the US, we have managed to get by without having to be super cautious. And unfortunately, now we have to be. Even choosing my candies for the international folks, I was like, pick lighter candies, pick lighter candies. So that is what I'm up to today after work. I don't know what you're up to. Whatever it is, I hope it's a super crafty day. I hope you do something that makes you feel inspired. And there are wonderful videos and collabs going on. I wanted to mention Lorraine Barton has invented a wonderful collaboration. They're making embellishments for a year in a binder. I just think it's a fabulous idea. I'm not officially crafting along because, y'all, I'm really not inspired to make like St. Patty's Day embellishments. But I love the idea of it. You all know I make for the person. I never pre-make embellishments or bases. But I'd love to have, 24 of these ready for cards and for things like tags or whatever. So I love this idea. And Lorraine's collab is sort of inspiring me to put a little bit of effort in this area. So thank you, Lorraine. So you may want to check that out. I'll put a link to Lorraine's channel and her video for this week. And from there, you can look in her description box and see all the projects of the participants. I'm wishing for you a happy and a healthy Tuesday. Please keep everyone we have a hurricane. We have several hurricanes actually off the coast. Several have caused evacuation of people in our community. Please keep everyone in your well wishes and your prayers, y'all. Please. We want everyone to stay safe and sound. Wishing for you a happy Tuesday, and I will see y'all later today. Bye for now.